Well, good evening, brothers. I am your Uncle Jeebus, coming to you live from Nanjing. So, don't fall for the Osho trap. I keep seeing this Osho stuff everywhere, and I'm completely amazed that the books are still selling so much that you still see Osho this and that everywhere, and you have like an Osho foundation. The guy looks like Satan himself. He died of a drug overdose. He had to have a dentist go around with him all the time to shoot him up on this, nitrous oxide. And all of his missions are just big harems. He teaches women to be prostitutes, and everybody has to give him tons of money, and he had like 50 Mercedes, and he was a criminal in India, and he escaped punishment by fleeing to the United States, where he was a polygamous criminal. He had, I think, 5 wives or something like that, and you're not supposed to be allowed to do that in the U.S. And how do I see that? It's not really fair now. I'd just say poor him. I mean, he died really young, and you're not pecked by one hen, you're pecked by 5 or 6 or 10. I couldn't imagine a guy with all those psychobots, running around him all the time. Must have driven him nuts. And he's a Hindu, right? Or he was from a Hindu family. And we call them Hindus because they're brown Jews. You go to India, and the Hindus are much more greedy and weird than the Jewish people I know. They make terrible clients. You can ask anybody on that one, because they're always trying to get more, suck more out of the contract, get more out of your work, get more, even when it's already done. And the Hindus, my lord, okay, you're sitting in a train station, it's all rusted out, there's stray dogs, there's like horses running around outside, just poop everywhere, people eating scraps of food off the ground, a sign on the wall that says, "Please don't wash your hands." There's a story to that, but anyway, on top of all of this, there's a big new flat LCD screen running advertisements for gold 24/7. With these vain, ugly Indian women, like on these saris and stuff, and be like, gold, I was thinking, you Hindus better get toilets first. Why don't you get a toilet and get a pipe that pumps the poop into a set place before you start talking about gold. I think that would be an appropriate strategy for your country. And so Osho comes from that, and he really, really loves his money and his sex. And basically, when you read Osho stuff, the trick is he's saying that if you sin a lot, you'll get sick of sin. So the way to quit sinning is to sin more. Anybody with half a brain knows that's BS. So I'm not going to elaborate that too much. We have the old saying in China, 南辕北辙, and it's probably an actual story. There's a guy driving his chariot. I think he was driving his chariot south, and he meets somebody on the road when the guy is watering his horses or something, and he says to the man, he says, I'm going north. And the man he meets says, no, you're not. You're going south. The road you're on is going south. And the man in the chariot said, well, this is a very fast chariot, and I've got like 6 horses. So we're going north really fast. And the guy said, no, I don't think you understand. You're heading south. And so if you have 6 horses in a beautiful chariot, you're just going to go south faster. And you'll be going the wrong direction in a more severe fashion. And the man in the chariot didn't believe him, and he took off. And this is supposed to represent the people with the Osho argument that I'm going to do these bad things in the name of doing good things. I'm going to... And Osho and their whole group tend to take a very light view of sexual sin. They think, well, I'm just going to keep doing this till I'm sick of it. As if there's no victims and there's no killing. You're at least killing all those sperm, you're killing all of the... pissing off all the spirits that want to have a body. You know, they're standing there watching you and you're just dicking around. And they're like, come on, come on, come on, I want to jump into that zygote there. I want to get born somehow. And so it's sort of like, is it worse than abortion or not? I don't know. I can't figure it out. It's like the pre-human life, the idea, and then that's getting killed and murdered and messed up, and there's blood and STDs and a lot of weird stuff. But Osho is BS. So you got to stay away from this Osho guy. Look it up. He's a registered criminal from India and America. They were both out for him, trying to arrest him. And everything he did was a big harem and drug scene. And that's not the way you're going to get clean. The way you're going to get clean is by keeping a journal. And with the really tough habits, you're going to have to try to quit right now. And if you fail in that, you have to write that down, like why you failed, and scientifically go after the bad habit and keep quitting and quitting for longer periods of time, and understanding how your own psyche works and how you're going to kill this bad habit. That's how you succeed at getting clean. You don't get clean the Osho way, and you're not going to get anywhere following a Hindu. Somebody asked me, like, well, why do so many saints come from India? Karanami. Well, there's just so many. Shivananda, all of our favorites, come from India as well. The answer to that riddle, my friends, is that India is a horrible, horrible place. And if you survive it, and you not only survive it, but you're meditating, let's say 13 hours a day like Karanami was doing, you're a saint. So make of that what you will. I would prefer not to go the India route to learn lessons, and I don't want to take all my hard knocks like today. Otherwise I can't handle them. I can't improve myself. You have to lift your weights progressively heavier. And for me, if I had taken a birth in India, I could tell you right now, I'd probably have lost the game. I'd probably given up and said, yeah, I'll be a cockroach, a scumbag, a Hindu too. Because it's a really, really nasty environment. But I can't suppose that way. How did I come to my state right now, and how did I come to celibacy and all of that? It's just a personal story. But in China you can get whatever you want. So whatever sin you have, whatever weakness you have, it'll be amplified 10, 20 times. And in the progression, going from a white country to an Asian country, in the progression it puts things in perspective that, wow, this thing isn't really all that important, is it? It's sort of dumb, it's just everywhere. And that's when, maybe it can click for you. But I'm not suggesting the Osho method either. Come to China, you get whatever women you want every 2 days, every 3 days. You get 4 or 5 every night if you want. I've heard these stories. Not if you're not getting it, not if you're not coming to the realization, because coming to rock bottom doesn't always teach people, and I would say half the time it doesn't. You go to rock bottom and they die out, and people die. They actually don't come to any realization when they come to their end of the line, and a lot of people are doing that. So also a problem with the Osho perspective is when you really do come to the end of the line, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to get it. And the reason for that is you're not in the spiritual state, the mental state, to understand stuff. You're messed up. So unless you've got the seed of God within you, as it says in the Bible chapter John, unless you have that seed in there, that little voice that God put in you, that's innate. You can't put it there yourself. That's the voice that talks to you when you hit that rock bottom or that difficult place. And my rock bottom was, I don't know if it was rock bottom, but it was pretty bad. These are my hospital records in China. I've got 9 books here. Well, I'll try to get them all to you here. And they all have my name on it. On the inside it has a list of various ailments that I had. I said in one video that I remember 9 sicknesses I had before I had my little flash, my little realization. And I'd say half of these were what Western doctors call incurable. Like psoriasis, like irritable bowel, arthritis, joint pain. I can't remember all of them anymore, and I'm glad. I don't want to. Let's put it behind me, but that was 7 years ago, brothers. You stick with it. You stick with your celibacy and your meditation. You will live in the light of God and the health and the blessings. And stay away from those Osho videos. Goodbye and home. And everybody has to give him tons of money, and he had like 50 Mercedes. And he was a criminal in India, and he escaped punishment by fleeing to the United States, where he was a polygamous criminal. He had, I think, 5 wives or something like that. And you're not supposed to be allowed to do that in the US, right? Or he was from a Hindu family. And we call them Hindus because they're brown Jews. You go to India, and the Hindus are much more greedy and weird than the Jewish people I know. They make terrible clients. You can ask anybody in the U.S. And how do I see that? It's not really fair now. I would just say poor him. I mean, he died really young, and you're not pecked by one hen, you're pecked by 5 or 6 or 10. I couldn't imagine a guy with all those psychobots, running around them all the time. Must have driven him nuts. And he's a Hindu, like an Osho Foundation. The guy looks like Satan himself. He died of a drug overdose. He had to have a dentist go around with him all the time to shoot him up on this, nitrous oxide. And all of his missions are just big harems. He teaches women to be prostitutes and... Well, good evening, brothers. I am your Uncle Jeebus, coming to you live from Nanjing. So, don't fall for the Osho trap. I keep seeing this Osho stuff everywhere, and I'm completely amazed that the books are still selling so much, that you still see OSHO this and that everywhere, and you have